the Muslim world, rightfully so, is very outraged by what Israel is doing to Palestine. You know, they're oppressing the poor Palestinian, innocent people are dying. But why they're not as outraged with the Taliban? Because literally the Muslims should be even more outraged, because the Taliban are using Islam, their religion, a peaceful, a beautiful religion, to basically justify their crimes against humanity and justify this gender apartheid. Why do you think they don't care as much?
We can't compare both, because what is happening in Palestine is extremely inhuman, and it's a genocide. People are being ruthlessly killed, cleansed. So that's next level inhuman thing that's going on. Where children, women, they are killed and they are eliminated, and even the world is asking for ceasefire, and it is not happening, and Israel is not accepting any law, any international community, any ask, any UN. They are like unbridled horse, and they are smashing everything. So that is really shocking. I mean, the level of human rights violation or human life violation, like, that is extreme. Like,
I agree.
Also, that is why it's more highlighted. The second reason is it is like Israel. I mean, all of them are. Some of them I don't know. They are Jews, and Palestinians. Most of them are Muslims and Christians. So also Muslim, like in Muslim countries, they look to it in that lens as well. Like people of different faith are killing Muslims. So it is between two faiths, like they take it as a two religions conflict, which for me is not. Like, it is the Palestinians are a nation, and Israel is also like they are faith as well, but they are a nation as well. So I mean, that's I won't go into that detail. But in Afghanistan, it is Muslim oppressing other Muslims. And if you look at this, like if you look at other stories as well, whether that is Pakistani Taliban killing, they have killed more than 70 to 80,000 Pakistanis. And most of them are Pashtuns. Like in our region, people have been killed, and we are here because of what happened to Malala and to her family. And so the rest of the Muslims, they don't, like, they are not that much sensitive, or they are not that much vocal about the atrocities or human rights violation when it is done by their own Muslim brothers. And also you find some people who haven't picked arms, but ideologically they are tuned with the Taliban. Like in Swat, when there were Talibanization and TTP was operating, and they were bombing schools, and they were stopping women and girls from going to markets. I have seen so many educated people who were happy that they were very patriarchal in their thinking. They were very religious, narrow-sighted in their thinking. And though they hadn't picked gun, but what was done by the Taliban, they were happy with that. You understand?
Yeah.
So that is also the problem, that Muslims, that we are 1.8 billion Muslims in the world. I won't blame all of them, but the majority of the Muslims, they unfortunately somehow they they don't challenge the people of their own faith. They're more about other faiths, like about resistance and about like they will talk about a lot. They will talk a lot about Islamophobia, where Muslims are victims and they are oppressed. But they won't talk about what Muslim states and Muslim population do to their minorities in their own Muslim majority countries. You haven't heard a Muslim that if like a Hindu girl is forced in sin to be married to a Muslim boy and she's forced by a Maulana, you won't see any who cry about it. They take it as normal thing. So you understand my point?
Yeah, no, I understand.
So it's very ideological. They think, oh, we are the right faith. So if we do it, it's okay. But if the other people do it, it's wrong.
I'm not sure if that's a majority perspective, though. I think there is definitely people like that. But
yeah,
I think a lot of the time as well, there is just so many problems going on in the world. Like, for example, what's going on in Sudan. We haven't spoke about that. Like today, we don't really speak about that as often. I think there tends to be certain issues that people are more like in tune with or aligned with. And for example, in countries like the United Kingdom and United States, our money, taxpayer money, our government money and support is going towards Israel, who is then committing these atrocities. Whereas like the whole world almost unanimously condemns the Taliban. So it's not like I have to fight against my government to support these people. The world is already doing it. I feel like a lot of people see it in that way as like, as an individual, what can I really do to go against the Taliban when they're not listening to these government organizations and all of this, whereas my government is actually supporting them, so at least I can put pressure on my government to do something. I feel like that is a big part of it as well.
But then if, let's say, you're in one of the Muslims country and your government is quiet, they can also see that as a form of support, because it's like staying quiet is also
but I think it's not on the same level. Like whereas the UK and United States sent arms to Israel, and some Muslim countries did that in Afghanistan as well.
It depends on your resourcefulness. Like in the past, we see that in the last time, like Afghan Mujahideen and all these people were supported by Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
the people who have money, they also send money, a lot of money as well. And I mean, it's quite complex. Like right now, what is happening in Palestine and Gaza, it has been condemned in big rallies by the Western countries, not any Muslim country. And the non-Muslims, like the non-believers even, they are out because it's something that it's unacceptable as humanity. So we see hundreds and thousands of people in London, in New York, and they are out and they are raising their voice against the genocide in Gaza. The country that has been at the forefront of talking about the genocide in Palestine and Gaza is the South African country. Is South Africa. South Africa is not a Muslim country. So this is not quite black and white. I think like if we forget for a while about the governments and its regimes and its establishments, then people in general, like they are not divided. They are more united against the oppression. They are not hard. That's a different story. When it comes to Taliban, like forces like Taliban, is so unfortunate that they are not condemned. They are not made accountable by their Muslim brothers, because majority of the militant extremist organizations are very patriarchal in their approach. They are misogynistic and like culturally the Muslims of that region, of that area, they are aligned with them. Like how on earth in 21st century, in a country like Afghanistan, which has a population of 40 million people, guns have been stopped from schools for the last 2.5 years. And I don't see men out on streets. I don't see even like men delegations or men's kind of
Outrage.
outrage and their gatherings, even to go to the chief of the Taliban, Amir of the Taliban, and ask them, what the hell are you doing? So should we say or not, I don't know, that are they happy what is happening to the women and girls of Afghanistan? It's a big question.
Do you mean the men in Afghanistan or men worldwide?
The men in Afghanistan particularly. The men in Afghanistan. I won't say again that all men. I mean, there were men who were jailed, like Matiullah Vesa and some professors, Abdul Basir, and there is, I know a lot of people, Jami, so some have left the countries. There were some 10 organizations who were working with the Malala Fund as well for girls' education in Afghanistan. But as a population, as a nation, like when there are many voices, then it becomes so difficult to suppress them. But if one or two people, they rise and they raise their voice and they are suppressed, then that's it. That is end, like kind of. So it's really shocking and it's more disturbing. Like for me, it's shocking that Taliban have banned girls' education for so long, but it's more shocking that men are quiet. And men are quiet because they are going to school. Boys are going to school. Boys are going to universities. Men are going to job. It's 2.0 in a different context. Last time when Taliban were governing from 1995 until 2001, men and women both had to follow their code of Islamic Sharia. This time men are exempted. It is just women's Sharia. You understand?
Yeah.
Like last time we had these stories, that funny stories as well. Maybe sometimes there is a little bit exaggeration as well. That men in Afghanistan, they had to keep beards, and even their beards used to be measured with the glass of lantern. That if it is up to one fist, like longer, like longer than a fist or not. And if people didn't abide or didn't follow that particular measurement of the beard, they were beaten or they were snubbed or they were told to follow. But this time, men are free. So that is more shocking, that men in Afghanistan, they are so indifferent to women's rights and girls' education. They don't care. A girl goes to school and not go to school. And it had a lot of issues because according to UNICEF, they have a report that because of girls' ban in Afghanistan, Afghanistan is losing $500 million per year. It's just about secondary education. Then think of the university education. Then think of women in jobs. They have shut down all the salons, like hairdressing shops, which were run by women. And I think maybe I have heard that some 60,000 women lost their jobs. So think of all those jobs who were women who were working in restaurants and shops. They had their own businesses somewhere in the big towns, or they were in the government organizations and profit and non-profit, for-profit organizations. They have disappeared. So women have been erased from the life of public life of Afghanistan. So it's a huge loss as well, economic loss as well.
You mentioned earlier that there's extreme poverty as well in Afghanistan right now, and that no one is holding the Taliban accountable for these poor policies they're putting in place. So could it be the same thing leading to both? Is it because they've been given these extra freedoms this time that they don't really care about the poverty as much? Because that's what struck me earlier. Why are they not rioting? Why are they not protesting about the economic situation in the country at the moment? Because it's not really just women who are suffering. The whole country is suffering. People are dying. So why do they not, in a sense, they're also not advocating for their own rights as well by just ignoring the poverty?
I think men